Hello and welcome to the second Virtual Check tutorial. My name is Coulter and I'm one of the many members of the virtualcheck.com support team. Today we will be covering how to create and submit a batch file on Virtual Check. Like all videos, if you think I'm going too fast, feel free to hit the pause button and resume at your leisure. If you watch this video and are still struggling to submit a batch file, don't worry, and feel free to contact our support team at 1-800-838-8651. Let's get started. When trying to create a batch file in Virtual Check, many find it useful to use the batch file specification PDF found in your initial setup email. If you can't find this file, click the link below in the description and download the file. This PDF is a great reference that can be used in tandem with this video. When uploading a batch file, you can use one of many programs. Today I will demonstrate how to make a batch file in Microsoft Excel and in Notepad. If you do not have access to either of these programs, use a text program that allows you to save the file as a CSV or a TXT file. You will need to input the information in the following format on a horizontal axis. Using Excel, you will see across the top this horizontal axis in the first row. You will need to input the company name, the address, the secondary address, the city, the state, the postal code, the phone number, the email, the payee, the date, the check number, the amount on the check, the routing number associated with the check, the account number associated with the check, any notes associated with the check, and the memo. The required fields are company and contact name, address, city, state, postal code, date, amount, routing number, and account number. While the other fields are not required, you must provide space in the field in order for the Virtual Check system to process the payment correctly. If you do not have the information to be inputted into these fields that are not required, simply leave the field blank. Let's first demonstrate this in Microsoft Excel. Feel free to input headers, as I have, into the sheet and input the information below. It is important to note that while Excel might be more aesthetically pleasing, you will need to double check to ensure that the format of each field is correct. For instance, the general format will often cut off the first zero in the routing number. You can avoid this by changing the field format to text prior to inputting the information. Please take a moment and input the information into the appropriate fields. Now that you've inputted the information into the appropriate fields and have double checked the formatting, it is now time to save this file. For Excel, save this file in CSV format. This is one of the most crucial steps in the process, as there is a specific format by which you must save the file. You must save the file as client ID, batch ID, the year, month, day, hour, minute, and second, .csv. The client ID is the 4-digit client identifier provided by Virtual Check when your merchant account was opened. The batch ID is the 6-digit batch number that you generate. And the year, month, day, hour, minute, and second is the timestamp for when the file was generated. Here's an example. Now that you've mastered this in Excel, let's try it in Notepad. When using Notepad or any other text editor, you will still keep the same format, but you will not be able to use headers. Furthermore, as Notepad does not provide fields independent of one another like Excel, you will need to put a comma after each data entry. For instance, between name and address, you will need a comma. If using a text editor, please take a moment to input the data in the correct format. Taking a quick look at my example, you may notice a series of double commas throughout my entry. This is important to note as I am trying to save space for an entry that is not necessary. For instance, I do not have a secondary address, so I've left that particular entry blank, which is indicated by inputting another comma. Please do the same. Failure to leave space for an entry that you do not require will cause an error when you try to submit the batch file. Now that you've inputted the information in the appropriate fields and have double checked the formatting, you can now save this file as a CSV or a TXT file. The choice is yours. You must save this file in the same format that was described earlier when I demonstrated how to create a batch file with Excel. Client ID, batch ID, the year, month, day, hour, minute, and second, .csv or txt. Once you have saved this file, it is now time to proceed to virtualcheck.com. Select Login on the upper right-hand side of the screen, and then log in using your login instructions. If you have trouble logging in, please refer to the previous tutorial video. Once logged in, select New Batch Upload on the navigation on the left-hand side of the screen. Now, select the Browse button, select the file that you are trying to upload, and hit Open. Once you've hit Open, all you have to do is hit Submit. If you have followed the instructions correctly, you will now have submitted a batch file for processing on virtualcheck.com. For more information on how to submit a batch file, feel free to contact our support team at 1-800-838-8651